Here are the most dangerous personality disorders ever, and we are ranking them based on how dangerous they are. Antisocial personality disorder, psychopath, and sociopath. Let's start with the one people always talk about, because this is where words like psychopath and sociopath usually come from. In real psychology, both of those fall under antisocial personality disorder, which is a long-term pattern of ignoring rules, using people, and not feeling much guilt after doing something wrong. What this looks like in real life is not always obvious. It is not always some movie villain walking in slow motion. It can be someone who lies easily, charms people when needed, and then switches up the moment they get what they want. They may break rules without thinking twice, and when something goes wrong, they often blame others or just don't care. A psychopath is usually described as more calm and calculated, someone who plans things and hides their behavior well. A sociopath is often more impulsive and hot-headed, someone who reacts fast and doesn't think ahead. But both share that same core issue, which is low empathy and weak sense of right and wrong. This is considered the most dangerous overall because the harm goes outward. It can affect people emotionally, financially, and sometimes physically. And for the person themselves, it can lead to a messy life full of broken trust, legal trouble, and constant instability. Borderline. Now we jump into something completely different, where the danger is not about hurting others, but about how intense things feel inside. Borderline personality disorder is like having emotions turned up to maximum volume all the time. A small situation can feel huge. A delayed reply can feel like rejection. A normal argument can feel like the end of the relationship. There is often a deep fear of being left, and that fear can make relationships feel like a constant push and pull between getting close and then feeling hurt. The person may feel empty one moment, then overwhelmed the next, and sometimes act quickly without thinking just to escape that feeling. It is not about attention or drama. It is about trying to handle emotions that feel way too big. This is one of the most dangerous for the person themselves because of impulsive decisions and risk of self-harm. For others, the danger is more emotional, with intense conflicts and unstable relationships that can be hard to manage. Narcissist. This one looks like confidence at first, but it is more fragile than it seems. A person with narcissistic personality disorder often feels like they need to be special, admired, and above others, and they may struggle to handle criticism or being ignored. They might talk about their success, expect praise, and act like rules don't fully apply to them. But underneath that, there is often a shaky sense of self that depends on others' approval. When that image is challenged, they can react strongly. They may get angry, dismiss others, or twist the situation to protect their ego. It is like building a tall tower, but the base is not stable. The danger here is mostly toward others, especially in close relationships, where people can feel used, ignored, or emotionally drained. For the person themselves, the biggest risk is emotional crashes when reality does not match their expectations. Paranoid. Imagine feeling like people are always out to get you, even when there is no clear reason. That is what paranoid personality disorder can feel like. Trust becomes very hard, and the person may read hidden meaning into normal actions. A simple joke might feel like an insult. A delay might feel like betrayal. Over time, this creates a constant state of tension, like the brain is always on alert mode. The person may avoid opening up, question others' intentions, and hold on to grudges for a long time. It is not that they want conflict, but their view of the world makes it hard to relax. This can be dangerous because misunderstandings can turn into arguments or even aggressive reactions. For the person, it leads to stress and isolation. For society, it increases the chance of conflict driven by suspicion rather than reality. Schizotypal. This one is often described as eccentric, but it goes deeper than just being quirky. A person may have unusual beliefs, odd ways of speaking, and strong discomfort in close relationships. They might see patterns where others don't, believe things that feel strange to others, or struggle to understand social cues. Conversations can feel off, and connections can be hard to build. It is like their brain is tuned slightly differently, so normal interactions feel confusing or distant. They may want connection, but not know how to keep it. For themselves, the danger is isolation and confusion. For society, the risk is not usually direct harm, but unpredictable behavior can create awkward or tense situations. Schizoid. This is the quiet one. A person with schizoid personality disorder usually prefers being alone and does not feel a strong need for relationships. They may not show much emotion, even in situations where most people would react strongly. It can look like they don't care, but often it is just how they are wired. They might spend most of their time alone, focus on their own interests, and avoid social situations without feeling upset about it. This is one of the least dangerous. For themselves, the risk is long-term isolation. For society, there is almost no danger, because they are not trying to harm or control others. Avoidant now takes someone who wants connection, but is held back by fear. Avoidant personality disorder is like having a strong desire to belong, but also a strong fear of being judged or rejected. The person may overthink everything they say, worry about embarrassment, and avoid situations where they might be criticized. They may stay quiet, skip opportunities, and keep distance, even when they care deeply. The danger here is mostly internal. For themselves, it can lead to loneliness and low confidence. For society, it is very low risk since they are not causing harm to others. Dependent. This is where the person feels like they cannot function well without support. Decisions feel overwhelming, and they often look to others for guidance. They may rely heavily on a partner, friend, or family member and fear being left alone. Because of this, they might stay in unhealthy relationships, agree with things they don't believe, or avoid standing up for themselves. For themselves, this can be dangerous because they can become stuck in harmful situations. For society, the danger is low, but relationships can become unbalanced and strained. Obsessive-compulsive personality disorder. This is not the same as OCD, but it still involves a strong need for order and control. The person may focus heavily on rules, details, and perfection. They may struggle to relax, delegate tasks, or accept different ways of doing things. It can feel like everything has to be just right, and anything less feels uncomfortable. For themselves, this leads to stress and frustration. For society, it can cause tension in work and relationships, but it is not usually dangerous in a harmful way. Histrionic personality disorder. This one is all about attention and expression. The person may feel uncomfortable when they are not noticed, and may act in ways that quickly draw focus. Emotions can seem big and dramatic, and relationships may feel closer than they actually are. They may change how they act or speak to keep attention, even without realizing it. For themselves, the risk is unstable self-worth based on attention. For society, it creates emotional strain and confusion, but not serious harm. Sadistic personality traits. Now we move into something more intense, even though it is not officially listed anymore. Sadistic personality traits involve taking pleasure in controlling, hurting, or humiliating others. This does not always mean physical harm. It can be emotional, like enjoying making someone feel small or powerless. The person may feel a sense of control or satisfaction from causing discomfort. This is dangerous because the harm is intentional. For others, it can be deeply damaging. For the person, it can lead to toxic relationships and serious consequences. Machiavellian personality traits. Finally, this is the master manipulator type. A person with strong Machiavellian traits focuses on strategy, control, and getting what they want, often without caring about fairness. They may plan ahead, use people as tools, and hide their true intentions. Unlike impulsive behavior, this is more calculated. It is like playing a long game where other people are just pieces on a board. For society, this can be dangerous because manipulation can affect relationships, work, and trust on a larger scale. For the person, it can lead to a life where connections are shallow and based on control rather than real trust. If you liked the video, can you subscribe, please?